Hai, Assalamualaikum everyone. Okay, selamat berpuasa. Puasa yang ke-10 sudah, ramalan yang ke-10. Okay, waktu saya rekod ni lah, ramalan yang ke-10 ha. Okay, alright, so chapter 4 on social change. Okay, let's take a look at the chapter outcomes. Okay, so there are three lesson outcomes. So the first one, you must be able to define social change. Okay, you must be able to explain the variables of social change and to elaborate on the theories that are related to social change. Alright, so this is the chapter outline. The introduction. Okay, sociologists have defined social change as the changes, okay, perubahan in human interaction and relationships, okay, that transform the culture and social institution. So these changes will occur over time and often have profound and long-term consequences for the society. Now, when we talk about social change, it always involves changes satu, and the changes tu dia akan ada long-term consequences. Maksudnya dia akan ada kesan ataupun akibat daripada perubahan itu kepada society. Okay, for example, industrial revolution. In the industrial revolution ni adalah revolusi industri. Okay, yang dulu when the manufacturing of goods have moved from the small shop, orang pindah kepada large factories, kedai kecil diorang pindah pergi yang kilang besar. So this shift, perubahan ini have both about changes in the culture as the people, diorang start to move from rural areas to big cities in order to work. Jadi revolusi industri ini menyaksikan ramai orang pindah ke bandar untuk bekerja. And also the second one is in term of the abolition of slavery, hamba-hamba ni. Dulu kan banyak hamba, tapi because of ada akta yang di negara-negara yang membangun, orang perkenalkan akta, there will be no more slavery. So itu akan memberi kesan juga kepada society, maksudnya in the future there will be no more slavery lah, sepatutnya tidak ada. Alright. Definition of social change. At least one definition should be sufficient. Social change is the significant alteration. Alter maksudnya kita ubah, we change. Apa yang kita ubah adalah the social structures, including the consequences of such structures embodied in norms, values and culture. Maksudnya this kind of changes ataupun alteration will actually resulted into the changes. Dia akan berubah. Contohnya macam perubahan dari segi norms, values and culture. Let's take an example of culture. So for example, like before the introduction of the look is policy, tu Dr. Madri bilang we should change the attitude of the government servant yang tidak punctual, for example. So we like to change the working culture daripada tidak punctual kepada punctual. So maksudnya when the government started to introduce on look is policy, it means that each and every one of the government servants is compulsory to punch in and also punch out to detect whether this in particular employees is be present at the workplace on time ataupun otherwise. So maksudnya punch card system tu sebenarnya mengubah the attitude of the public servant. Norms apa? Norms contoh macam norms tu maksudnya yang kebiasaan. Contoh macam sekarang ni kan, because of the pandemic of the COVID-19 kan, we started to change our norms kan, we have the new norms. Instead of bersalam-salaman, probably mungkin we can only put gestures on our bahu kan untuk tundukkan. Tidak lagi bersalam-salaman, and then we started to practice social distancing. This is the new norms. Maksudnya because of the pandemic crisis that the country is facing now, we started to change our norms. So maksudnya dia memberi kesan kepada rakyat as a whole. And also norms. Kalau norms contoh sebelum ini kan, our norms is kita kalau budak-budak dalam kereta kan, we don't make it compulsory for them to use the child car seats. Tapi starting from January 2020, the government had announced it is mandatory to use the child car seats. Maksudnya wajiblah guna tempat duduk kanak-kanak tu kan dalam kereta kan. So maksudnya dia tukar kita punya attitude daripada tidak guna car seat untuk budak-budak ataupun tidak pentingkan keselamatan kanak-kanak kepada yang lebih mementingkan keselamatan kanak-kanak, especially when you are in the car. Alright, Ellen, lebih kurang lah modification kita tukar. Okay. Alright, so variables or factors of social change. Variable itu maksudnya pemboleh ubah, okay, yang menyebabkan perubahan sosial itu berlaku. So the first one we have physical variable. Now, physical variable ni adalah, it is referring to our earthly environment, okay, that consists of natural surroundings and also all events perpetuated from any changes to the physical environment. So maksud it means that whatever changes happens to this climate weather ataupun natural resources ataupun natural disaster, dia akan memberi kesan to the physical environment. Okay, dia akan memberi, maksudnya dia akan memberi kesan kepada physical environment, and also dia ada consequences kepada rakyat. Contoh mana macam ni kan, yang the third picture ni kan, we have natural disaster. This is the real picture I took from Google, okay, during the tsunami in 2004. So what happened during the tsunami in 2004? It swipes almost everything. Okay, inclusive of kedudukan muka bumi. Okay, kalau tengok di Google Map, before and after tsunami in Aceh tu kan, okay, before tu masih hijau lagi, and after tu semua tu jadi warna kelabu. Okay, it's because of everything being swiped by the tsunami. So what happened to the academic institution, what happened to the institution buildings, okay, everything they have to start from zero back lah. I mean they have to build back. So maksudnya dia memberi kesan kepada society dalam bentuk employment. Okay, people tidak ada pekerjaan lagi is because of semua kena swipe sudah kan oleh tsunami, and also they have to rebuild back their institutions. Okay, slowly lah diorang kena build balik, and also of course when it comes to economy, okay, it has greatly affecting their economy as well. Okay, now example what else? Climate ataupun weather. Now during the winter, okay, during the winter, apa yang akan jadi kepada penjual baju panas? Of course tidak berapa laku. It's because of people are seeking for baju sejuk ataupun winter coat kan. Okay, what happened to the penjual payung, okay, waktu musim hujan? So of course the demand for the umbrella starting to increase. It's because of perubahan cuaca. Okay, kalau perubahan cuaca malah macam sekarang ni kan, macam let's say kalau macam cuaca terlampau panas kan, so the demand for the aircon pun started to increase as well, because orang pun berlumba-lumba beli aircon sebab terlalu panas, contohnya lah. Okay, so maksudnya dia akan memberi kesan lah, okay, kepada the population, the society. Okay, alright, natural resources. Okay, for example like the depletion of natural resources. For example, we do not have sources. We do not have sufficient sources for palm oil. Contoh, palm oil dah banyak. So what will happen to the economy of the nation? So what will happen to us? Okay, kalau tidak ada palm oil, kan tidak ada supply of palm oil. Okay, mau masak minyak pun mungkin terpaksa depends on minyak-minyak yang lain contohnya. So maksudnya whatever changes that has been made, whatever changes that has affecting this physicals variable ni akan menyebabkan perubahan ataupun consequences dia kepada rakyat as a whole. Okay. Now the second one we have biological variables. Okay, biological variables ni adalah, kalau dia, it can be divided into two. The first one we have ecology, and the second one we have demographics. Now for the ecology, it is the relationship between human and other living things. Okay, for example kita punya relationship dengan plants, okay, tumbuh-tumbuhan yang hidup ni kan. Okay, our relationship with animals. So for example like how actually we depends on one another for us to survive. Okay, contohnya kalau macam us kan, for us as a human kan, we need to have plants macam vegetables, fruits kan, for us to survive. We need to have the animals, okay, we need to have the livestock, okay, for example like the chicken kan, yang comel-comel ni, okay, kerbau semua tu kan, binatang peliharaan kan, is because of we depend highly on them for the survival of the human life. So maksudnya kalau tidak ada orang ni susah lah kan kita mau hidupkan, nanti macam lapar je begitu kan. So we have to depend on them as well. Okay, alright, so like the other living things, okay, human beings dependent on the survival of natural cycle. So pentingnya diorang ni sebab kena ada diorang baru kita boleh survive lah. Kalau it's very difficult, for example we do not have the clean air, okay, udara yang bersih untuk keluarga kan, we are depending highly on kita punya surroundings for us to survive. Okay, now what else? Demographics. Okay, so this is the second elements under the biological variables. Okay, characteristics of human population that use in government, marketing or research. Okay, for example, gender, race, age, education, attainment. Now for this one, okay, for the apa ni demographic ni, ini adalah contoh macam okay, in China. Now how actually this particular information is very useful. Okay, contoh kalau macam okay, okay, kalau di China, okay, they actually from the demographics variable ni, they actually can trace, okay, berapa ramai populasi sudah, populasi di China, for example. So ada satu kali tu, okay, they have identified, they do have the potential of having the overpopulated population. Maksudnya overpopulated population ni kan, the sources yang existed, sources sumber yang ada macam makanan, tanah dan sebagainya tu kan, is not sufficient to cater the overpopulated population. Maksudnya populasi semakin bertambah tapi they do not have sufficient resources. Okay, so what they have done is that they have introduced on one child policy. Maksudnya one child policy ni satu family ada satu anak sahaja. It's because of they would like to control the growing numbers of population. So at least I tahu this policy is memang real punya policy, is because of when I did my master at UM, I have my one international student ni kan, actually UM memang my international student, satu ni dari China dan dia berkata memang dalam family dia satu orang sahaja. So maksudnya I bilang nak boleh ke ada lebih more than one? So dia bilang boleh tapi you have to pay the tax. Okay, bila ada satu orang saja, because satu orang punya rights tu will be covered under the one child policy punya dasar, one child policy lah. So maksudnya everything in term of the education, in term of the health benefits, medical benefits and everything will be covered by the government. Tapi kalau ada satu orang lagi, it means that you have to pay the tax, okay, and then you have to bear all the costs, okay, all the costs, okay, alright. Tapi sekarang China advance sudah sikit, diorang ada two child policy, satu family boleh ada dua orang sudah. Okay, technological variable. Okay, technological, the change is does not additive, it is ecological. Okay, contohnya di bawah sekali tu, okay, how actually kalau dipisahkan dengan teknologi sekarang, so maksudnya teknologi ni akan change our working styles kan. It has changed how actually we're going to communicate with one another. Dulu mana ada handphone kan, dulu kalau macam apa ni anak tu hilang ke susah, it's very difficult to cari kan, tapi sekarang ni ada handphone sudah, mau pergi mana-mana je senang. So boleh keep in touch through having the telephone, mobile phone. Okay, so alright, so okay, the technological advancement as well has changed how actually the government going to communicate with the rakyat. So contohnya macam sekarang ni we do have the existed websites. Okay, I think majority of the government's sector nowadays they do have their own website. So actually what you can do is that if let's say you would like to seek for the information ataupun you would like to fill up the form, then you can go directly to the respective website lah. Okay, and then e-government. Okay, for example like e-government sekarang ni payment of the summons. Okay, kalau di KL sekarang ni saman anda kan boleh bayar online sudah. Okay, you don't have to be present at the JPJ to pay your summons. Okay, kiosk machine for Asia, ini contoh saja. Okay, kiosk machine for Asia, because Asia is the one who have invented the kiosk machine, okay, for the first time in Malaysia. Okay, so kiosk machine ni adalah to replace the human factor. So it means that bila you ada kiosk machine, okay, macam dari segi tagging bag apa semua tu kan will be done by dari segi check-in and everything tu kan will be done by the kiosk machine. So at least you can reduce the dependency towards the human factors. Okay, so maksudnya teknologi ni sebenarnya sudah mengubah. Maksudnya teknologi ni pun satu hari nanti mungkin akan replace the human factors. Okay, sekarang ni pun kalau kita tengok machine kalau macam negara-negara membangunkan for the untuk kasih clean up rumah kan, untuk vacuum kan, untuk sapu-sapu kan, they do have the robot tu kan untuk kasih bersih kan. So yeah, so maksudnya nak perlulah orang kan, sebab orang ni dia bilang beremosi lah, penat lah dan sebagainya kan. So yeah, mungkin satu hari nanti everything will be replaced by technology lah. Okay, tapi itulah kalau replace teknologi dengan teknologi, human touch tu macam kurang sudah. Alright, Okay, number 4, we have ideological variable. Okay, ideological have a decisive impact in shaping the social change. Okay, these are two examples. Okay, the first is the ideology on the capitalism. Okay, I think majority of you have heard on capitalism. Okay, ini adalah golongan-golongan kapitalis. Okay, mana bila sistem ini ada sistem ekonomi. Okay, economic system in which the country's trade and industry are controlled by private enterprise. In capitalism ataupun sistem kapitalis ini, usually the role of the government is ought to be very minimal. Whereas everything will be controlled by the private entities. Okay, and of course bila kena control oleh private entities ni, orang-orang yang kaya ni kan, they are aiming for profits. Okay, and of course bila profit ni, ya, diorang ni adalah highly exploitative lah. Maksudnya diorang tries to exploit sebanyak-banyak kekayaan. Yang penting diorang kaya, terus kaya. Okay, yang kaya ni akan terus kaya lah. And kalau capitalism ni dia suka kepada competition. It means that if let's say you are you malas, you will be left behind. Tapi kalau you rajin cari duit, you rajin rebut peluang, okay, your chances to be more richer and richer tu ada. Okay, so these are among the top 10 countries that is orang bilang tu highly capitalist countries. Okay, for example Hong Kong, Australia, Singapore and also UK lah. Okay, Marxism. Okay, Marxism ni adalah political and economic theories developed by Karl Marx. Okay, I think some of you probably mungkin familiar with Karl Marx as well. Okay, production are owned and controlled by the proletariat. Proletariat ni adalah golongan-golongan pekerja, golongan-golongan yang the working class. Kan kalau macam kapitalis tu kan kira macam kalau di atas sekali tu akan ada golongan kapitalis kan. Kalau kapitalism, atas sekali kapitalis, bawah sekali working class. Tapi kalau Marxism ni, dia bilang atas sekali mesti working class. Okay, so maksudnya everything will be owned by the proletariat. So untuk Marxism, dia believes that capitalism is only thrive the exploitation of the working class. Okay, resulted to the class conflict. So untuk Marxism punya ideologi, dia bilang everything must be controlled by the working class ataupun proletariat. Bukan semuanya dikontrol oleh kapitalis. Itu salah dia bilang. Dia tidak suka kepada idea kapitalis. So dia bilang bila kapitalis tu tries to exploit on almost everything, so the working class tu akan tertindas. Okay, being repressed and also oppressed by the capitalist. So dia tidak mau macam tu. Dia bilang kalau capitalist ni continue to oppress the working class, it will result to class conflict. Class conflict tu maksudnya the working class akan sedaya upaya untuk challenge the capitalist. Contohnya apa yang kapitalis selalu buat adalah diorang akan kerah tahu kita ni untuk bekerja, tapi at the end of the day they will only pay us with a very small amount of money. Okay, kita ni dikerah bekerja 24/7, tapi at the end of the day kena bayar RM3 saja untuk 24/7 tu. So it is very unfair. So Marxism dia tidak suka idea kepada dia, maksudnya dia bilang kapitalis tu kejam lah sebenarnya. So dia bilang Marxism ni dia punya idea sepatutnya the working class tu yang rule, it's not the capitalist yang rule. Gitu. Okay, norm and values variable. Okay, norms are specific behavioral standard in which people are supposed to act. Okay, paradigm for predictable behavior in the society. Norms tu yang selalu kita buat. Okay, contohnya kalau pergi kelas kan, okay, what do the teachers or the lecturers expecting from you is that you come to class with papers, book, pens and etc. lah. So maksudnya yang tidak norms adalah bila you datang kelas berlenggang kan. So besoknya you nampak, kenapa Kak Ai saja berlenggang kan? So besoknya you started to change your norms. You started to bring books, okay, bring papers, okay, to class. Okay. Alright, so ini adalah norms yang selalu kita buat. Okay, say please and thank you, flush the toilets, okay, stop at the green light, stop at the red light and also go at the green light. So these are the norms. Yang bukan norms tu bila mana yang you go, maksudnya you terus je, lampu merah kan you terus je. Itu salah lah sudah. Maksudnya you sepatutnya change you punya norms. Kadang-kadang orang bilang kalau kita mau impose new norms ataupun values ni perlukan peraturan ataupun undang-undang. Sebab tu kalau macam sekarang ni kan, kalau macam bukan sekarang ni, maksudnya there are several acts, akta being imposed. Okay, kalau macam you langgar lampu merah, saman. Macam tu kan. Okay, sebab dia bilang only regulations and peraturan saja actually can regulate people's punya norms and also behavior. Okay. Alright, ini values. Okay, values tu something yang you appreciate lah. Tapi something that have to do with ethics and cultural principles. Macam you need someone yang value kepada sincerity, okay, kejujuran. So it means that you are not supporting the corruption and bribery. Kan? So sebab you bilang corruption and bribery tu is not ethical. So you tidak akan buat benda yang tidak ethical. Okay. You someone yang value cleanliness, value punctuality. So bila you value punctuality, kalau orang start meeting jam 2 kan, you akan pastikan semua orang ada jam 2, ataupun you will be there at 2 PM. So bukan yang kalau meeting jam 2 kan, jam 2:30 baru you ada. So maksudnya you need someone yang tidak value punctuality lah. Okay. Alright. Now the theories of social change. Okay, this is the final part for chapter 4. Okay, there are several theories that related to social change. Okay, so the first one we have evolutionary theory. Okay, ini yang formulate law ni adalah kita panggil sebagai Auguste Comte. Comte ni dia sudah formulate the law of 6 stages. Okay, so dia bilang the evolution of society is based on the evolution of mind. Okay, evolusi minda. Okay, through theological, metaphysical and also positivist stages. Now, untuk theological, okay, dia bilang sini supernatural powers and religious figures were at the root of everything. So maksudnya untuk explain based on theological ni kan, explanation is by spirits, by gods, etc. Maksudnya kepercayaan kita terhadap Tuhan, kepercayaan kita terhadap spirit ni kan, semangat-semangat ni kan. So yang akan explain that condition. Kejap lagi akan bagi example. Okay, tapi kalau untuk metafizik, the explanation is by philosophical explanation. Tapi kalau positivist, dia punya explanation pula, okay, kenapa kejadian itu terjadi is based on observation and also experiment. Kan? Okay, kita tengok dia punya example. Tengok example baru faham. Now, why does a rock fall? Tapi kalau kita guna theological, kita akan cakap, oh Tuhan yang tentukan sudah. Okay, Tuhan yang berkehendakkan begitu. That is why the rock is fall. Okay, kalau metafizik, kita akan cakap the nature of heavy objects to fall. Nature dia memang lumrah dia. Heavy objects akan jatuh ke bawah. Jarang juga heavy objects dia akan jatuh ke atas. Okay, tapi kalau positif, okay, is based on scientific punya explanation. Kita akan cakap ia adalah based on law of gravity. Okay, so ini adalah how actually we're going to explain things, okay, based on the evolution of mind. So satu theological ni berdasarkan Tuhan ataupun spirit. Okay, metaphysics ni metaphysics apa tadi ya? Lebih kepada abstract philosophical explanation. And so kalau positive is based on scientific explanation lah. Okay, why there is a disease? Kalau kita teologi kan kita akan cakap ini adalah hukuman daripada Tuhan, banyak buat dosa, so ialah ada penyakit lah. Okay, metaphysics, life is less deep, okay, brutish and short. Okay, that is why ialah kita dapat sakit. Tapi kalau positif kita akan cakap, okay, kita buat scientific punya study. Oh, kenapa ada disease is because of the viruses. Kenapa kita smart? Sebab ada virus. Okay, kenapa selalu sakit? Because of the bacteria, for example. Okay, why there are war? Okay, theological, God's toys with mortals. Ini kadar kematian lah kan. Okay, human nature, territorial, ini macam payah ni mau explain ni. Okay, tengok yang dua ni lah. Okay, why does a rock fall and why is there disease? Okay, so kalau theological revelation, metaphysic reasons and also positive based on observation. Okay. Alright, the second theory we have cyclical theory. Okay, Oswald Spengler. Okay, the ideas from the Spengler. Okay, so dia bilang society evolve just like any living organism. Okay, society dia bilang bermula dengan kelahiran, childhood, maturity, okay, on and also die. So human society rise till the top and eventually rise off to give way to new society to begins its life, and it is a continuous process. Now, human society ni bilang dia ada dia punya ups and down, tapi usually dia akan ikut dia punya flow lah. Okay, contoh macam civilization, ketamadunan. Kan dulu ada tamadun Rom, tamadun Mesopotamia. Kan setiap ketamadunan ni dia akan ada dia punya zaman dia punya start daripada dia lahir sampai ketamadunan tu jatuh. So dia bilang begitulah human society. Okay, we have to go through this particular cycle, baru akan ada benda yang baru. Macam tu. Okay. Okay. The third one, we have conflict theory. Okay. This is Karl Marx juga. Okay. Ni kesinambungan daripada yang example of Marxism tadi. Okay, conflict theories are perspective in social science which emphasize the social, political and also material inequality, okay, ketidaksamarataan of social group. Okay, so for example, class conflict. Kenapa wujud class conflict is when the workers are paid as little as the market will allow and without regulation. Maksudnya sekarang ni kan ada peraturan kan. Sekarang ni kalau zaman sekarang kan tidak ada isu class conflict ni. Dulu-dulu ada sebab dia bilang pay is often extortionate, okay, a pittance, okay, sangat-sangat sedikit in contrast to the profit the bourgeois. Bourgeois ni adalah the capitalist, okay, that are making from this level. Maksudnya the bourgeois ni ataupun the capitalist ni they have earned so much, okay, profit diorang sangat-sangat besar, berjuta-juta, tapi diorang bayar gaji 1,000 je sebulan contoh. Ataupun diorang bayar gaji dulu kan mungkin 100 je sebulan contoh. Okay, so itu waktu kita bilang tidak adil. Okay, so kenapa pula profit besar tapi bebanan gaji sangat-sangat sedikit. Okay, so Marx ushered in radical change. Okay, advocating tu maksudnya dia menyokong kepada proletarian revolution, revolusi pekerja-pekerja ni, okay, to make them free from the ruling classes. Ruling classes ni merujuk kepada golongan kapitalis. Maksudnya more free daripada dorang lah. So contrary theory is notion deeply rooted in the concept of class struggle. Okay, the economic slavery, hamba kepada economic and also repression, and also the power relationship between those who own the means of production in the capitalist society. Now, zaman dulu ada isu seperti ini kan, tapi zaman sekarang ni kan kita ada contoh macam we have the minimum wage policy. So maksudnya sekarang ni kalau untuk Sabah Sarawak 1,200, 1,300 per month kan. Okay, so minimum. Okay, and sekarang ni kalau macam if let's say you think that your employer ataupun your majikan is not it's not being fair with you, okay, for example like in terms of the payment of salary, rasa macam gaji you sudah 10 tahun tidak kena revise. So what you can do is that you do have the union. Zaman dulu mana ada union. Okay, sekarang ni kita ada trade union. So whatever whatever grievances ataupun dissatisfaction upon your employer, you tidak puas hatikan, you can channel your grievances directly to the union. Okay, sekarang ni jaranglah ada isu on this one lah. Okay, sebab kita ada union, kita ada banyak channel untuk kita salurkan kita punya dissatisfaction. Okay, and then the last one we have structural functional theory. Okay, for structural and functional theory ni kan, it is a social change theory, okay, that heavily influence the trend of sociology today even in Malaysia. So kalau kena tanya apakah teori yang paling sesuai ataupun selalu digunakan, yeah, especially in Malaysia kita guna inilah. Okay, so structural functional theory. Structure itu adalah interrelationship, okay, of different units to build a society. Okay, for example, culture, education, religion, beliefs, leadership, norms and also values. Okay, function is the role played by each unit yang di atas ni. Okay, and what are the consequences of any social activity made by those units? Okay, so the theory depicts that any changes that happen to any of the structure, apa-apa yang perubahan yang melibatkan culture kah, education kah, religion kah, beliefs kah kan, will cause the society to change. Okay, kita ambil example on the education. Now, when the government started to introduce on PPSMI policy, pengajaran pembelajaran sains dan matematik dalam bahasa Inggeris. So, maksudnya dia akan memberi kesan kepada perubahan kepada syllabus. Dia akan memberi kesan kepada perubahan kepada student and also the teachers, whereby the teachers have to undergo the training to teach maths and sciences in bahasa Inggeris. And then for the students, they need to be they need to adjust dorang punya study, okay, to be adaptable with the maths and sciences in English. And also the syllabus too need to be changed as well. So it means that Kementerian Pendidikan, they have to invest to change the syllabus, because before this the syllabus is PM kan, so tukar pergi BI balik. Macam tu. Okay, so dia benda ni akan melibatkan perubahan. Okay, apa lagi? Leadership. Okay, after the recent election. So maksudnya kalau macam election kan every 5 years kan. So maksudnya dari segi kepimpinan tu pun berubah. Okay, because we do have the new leader, for example. So in terms of the approach will be differ. Okay, in terms of the how actually the leader to praktis dia punya leadership skill tu pun berbeza. So maksudnya dia akan memberi kesan kepada ekonomi, dia akan memberi kesan kepada rakyat, kan? Okay. Alright. Norm and values. Okay. Norm and values. Bolehlah. Okay. Culture. Okay. Pemakaian baju batik hari Khamis. So maksudnya ini untuk penjawat awam. So bila kena impose on this kind of instruction, so maksudnya dia akan memberi kesan kepada penjawat awam, yang mana penjawat awam they have to wear batik on every Thursday. So maksudnya apa-apa changes dalam ni akan memberi kesan kepada society to change. Okay. Alright, okay. That's it for chapter 4. Okay, thank you. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, Mr. Chapter 4. So, if you have any question, okay, pertaining to the lectures, okay, pertaining to your assignment, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, I will always reply. Okay, tapi kadang-kadang tu lambat tu biasalah kan. Okay, thank you everyone. Selamat berpuasa. I'll see you again on the next chapter. Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum.